The house groaned, a settling sound. Or was it? Sarah paused, mid-sip, coffee mug halfway to her lips. Silence. She chided herself. Imagination. The city was full of strange noises. Best to ignore them. She took a slow sip, then a thud, upstairs. Heavy, unmistakable. Her heart pounded. She set the mug down, a nervous clink in the quiet morning. Nobody should be upstairs. Her son, thankfully away at college. Her husband, gone 2 years now. The accident. She pushed the thought away. Focus. Grasping the banister, she crept up the stairs. Each step creaked a protest. Her hand trembled on the doorknob. A slow, deep breath. She threw open the door, empty, but something was wrong. The window stood open, a winter gust chilling the room. Her son's toys, neatly arranged on the shelf, lay scattered across the floor. And the photo on the nightstand, her husband's smiling face, turned to the wall. A shiver ran down her spine. This was more than the wind. Miles of highway unfurled behind her. The radio crackled, a static symphony to the emptiness. Sarah glanced nervously at the fuel gauge. Close to empty. Stupid. Should have filled up in town. A flicker of movement in the rearview mirror. A truck. Big rig. Chrome glinting in the setting sun. It was gaining on her fast. Relief, then unease. It was too close, riding her bumper. She eased her foot down on the accelerator. The truck matched her speed. She could see the driver now in her mirror, shadowy figure, face obscured by a trucker hat pulled low. He was staring at her. A chill crawled up her spine. She dared a glance at his license plate. Blank, no plate. Her heart hammered in her chest. Think, she had to find a way out of this. The next exit, miles away, not an option. Her grip tightened on the steering wheel. What was she going to do? The snow fell in thick sheets, a curtain of white obscuring the world outside. Sarah huddled deeper into her blankets, seeking solace from the biting wind that howled outside her window. The storm had raged for hours, cutting her off from the world. Power was out. Phone lines dead. Alone. A scratching sound, faint, at the back door. Her heart pounded. Probably just a branch, she thought, trying to calm herself. But the storm was getting worse, not better. The scratching came again, more insistent. Someone was out there. Peeking through the blinds, she could make out a figure on her porch, tall, menacing. Its features were lost in the swirling snow, but she could feel its eyes boring into her. Terror, cold and sharp, pierced her heart. Don't move, she thought. Don't breathe. Then silence. The figure was gone. Cautiously, she made her way to the back door, clutching a heavy iron poker. Through the peephole, she saw only swirling snow. Unconvinced, she inched the door open and peered out. The porch was empty, but in the fresh snow, a single set of footprints led away from the house, disappearing into the swirling white abyss. The neon sign flickered, casting an eerie glow on the desolate highway. Vacancy. The motel stood alone, a beacon of false hope in the vast emptiness. Exhaustion gnawed at Sarah. She had been driving for hours, desperate to outrun the shadows that seemed to follow her, but she couldn't go on much longer. She needed rest. The motel clerk eyed her with suspicion, his gaze lingering on her trembling hands. He spoke in a low, gravelly voice, each word a challenge. "Just you?" Sarah nodded, her throat too dry to speak. He slid a key across the counter, his eyes never leaving hers. "Room 13. Lucky you." The room was small, musty, and cold. The air hung heavy with the scent of stale cigarettes and forgotten dreams. She bolted the door behind her, every creak of the floorboards setting her on edge. She tried to ignore the feeling of being watched. A knock at the door. Her heart leaped into her throat. She held her breath, listening. Silence. Then another knock, softer this time, urgent. She peered through the peephole. No one. Just a glimpse of something dark and fleeting at the edge of her vision. Whatever was out there, it was getting closer,